Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Three Donkeys podcast. My name is Adam Levitan, father of a very special lady, the most beautiful beast in the world, Jerry, and I am joined, as always, by my fellow donkeys, Jonathan Bales and Peter Jennings. We'll start with Peter, coming off a big week in NFL DFS. What's going on, Peter?
I was just grinding. Here, basically, we're in the midst of the heart of the DFS season and finally got the trend reversed a little bit. NBA started up. It's going well. And, Amari Cooper finally got off the schneid, and I finally am off the streets and back in my condo. Got it back from my landlord. Finally got a little bit of money again. So it's nice to be back sleeping in the warmth of my condo.
Before we get to Bales, when we say Peter won our three-man, obviously, Peter had a lot of really good lineups across all slates. No hashtag screenshot life, Peter, so we can presume you didn't win $1 million, but is it safe to say at your stakes that you're playing that you were up enough to offset the Amari Cooper losses from earlier this year?
Yeah, I had six figures of winnings this week, which was nice, but I got lucky. The primetime slate, I had the Nuts, won the Thunderdome, would have won a Q. So I guess that's one thing to tilt about, is not being a total degenerate and entering in the 6K Q on the primetime slate with 2 games. But yeah, it was a really good week. September, I lost the house. October, I'm in a good run of trying to get that house back. So we'll see what happens.
All right, sounds good. Bales was in a letdown spot off of his big 200K week. What was that, week 6? He had the big 200K week, so clear letdown spot. Bales, was it indeed a letdown spot for you?
Definitely a letdown spot. I fired a little harder than normal, not too much, and it wasn't really because of any change in bankroll or something. I just thought that there might be some equity in trying to win big money 2 weeks in a row and piggyback on week 6. But I think it might have been the worst week of my DFS career, so didn't go as planned.
And I have to point out one thing. I did do the donkiest thing of all time this week that ended up costing me like $15,000. The $1,500 tournament in the industry, I had a Dak, Zeke, Dez, Witten onslaught and was looking really good with the team. But with 10 minutes to go, I had to pivot and change around some kickers, and I had Crosby in 2 teams, and I clicked Myers on that team because I was just going in haste trying to get my games canceled, trying to make sure I had some changes because I wanted to get off Crosby, and somehow missed the news that Myers was cut. So Mr. Tuttle and I were the 2 guys on Myers in that 1,500. Not our strongest work playing a kicker that is not on the NFL on a $1,500 team. So I'm still a donkey. There's no denying that. And that was probably definitively the biggest mistake I've made all year.
How many misclicks have you guys had that have been super costly? I mean, that's not a misclick per se, but have you had any true misclicks that have cost you a ton of money?
Yeah, I've had one misclick in NBA. Can't remember. I think I was trying to click Josh Smith and I clicked someone else who was out. It was like 25,000 of NBA action that I just lit on fire because of a misclick. This was my biggest mistake. I also 2 years ago on a huge day, I added up the salaries wrong and pivoted away from CJ Anderson to someone else to try to block this guy, and I miscalculated the salaries. So that was also a big mistake. But yeah, I'm a donkey. There's no denying that. Levitan?
I don't really remember doing anything like that, mostly because I'm not juggling that many lineups usually. So I'm usually pretty okay with that. And I'm also not juggling like that many sites and stuff. So I'm usually pretty anal and pretty like OCD about making sure everything's right. So I can't remember doing that at all. But yeah, I definitely did a donkey thing this week. I had the absolute stones on one site with Dak.
Oh yeah, what did that team score, dude? That would have won like everything.
Yeah, finished with like 181.5. Dak Zeke. So dumb.
Oh, it's so painful. I've done that before too, not had the sorry.
Yeah, but honestly, like I think I'm up doing that in the long run. I don't know what you guys think, but like there's the lineup like wasn't correlated at all. It was like Dak, Zeke, McCoy, Julio, Jarvis Landry, Chargers D, Hauschka. I don't know. It was like the absolute stones, and I didn't put it in any tournaments at all. And like a lot of times, if I don't think a lineup is correlated at all or won't be unique at all, I won't put it in tournaments. And I actually think in the long run, I'm probably up. But if I had put this in like the single entry stuff, I would have won it. Wouldn't have won the Monster, which is good. Wouldn't have won the 33. Like wouldn't have won a bunch of other ones, but would have won some of the single entry stuff. So I don't know. You guys always put your cash lineup in GPP no matter what.
Well, I don't really play too much cash. So some weeks I do, some weeks I don't. I still generally make one. Like that's how I start making lineups. So I more or less make a cash lineup, and that's one of my tournament lineups. So that's in. When I used to play cash a little bit, I would not put it in like you because I thought like this is some EV that this lineup is made for this, and it doesn't make sense to put it in tournaments. And then I stopped doing that because I think at lower stakes you should probably put it in anyway. Like it's probably profitable. And then just like the regret factor, like I don't want to deal with that. And so if I'm giving up like the slightest bit of equity just to not deal with that emotional letdown, then I'll pay for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the emotional letdown's killer. I remember last year, week 2 or 3, I had like a team that would have won the Millionaire Maker by like 12 points in Thursday contests. Like that stuff sucks.
Yeah.
Had my cash game team being right there where if I entered in tournaments. I mean, the woulda, coulda, shouldas in DFS are just ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the prop bets that went down in this past week. Me and Bales got some off. First of all, met Bales at a place called Garage in Philly, which is an outrageous place, by the way. I don't even know what goes on up there in Hipsterville where Bales lives. But anyways, they have a skee ball machine there. And for those guys that play skee ball, I mean, I have never seen obviously like the obvious strategy is to go for the hundreds. Right? Even if you're like remotely accurate, like you don't have to be any type of like game theory expert to understand that. But Bales is firing at the hundreds with every roll and hitting them pretty consistently. One of the most impressive skee ball performances I've ever seen. Bales, where did you learn this skee ball strat?
So I have been playing skee ball only a few months. They have some prizes at Garage. And one of them is a bike, a very cool bike. It's no longer hipster land, by the way. That's many years ago. But awesome bike. Ticket count on that. I think they just figured like no one's ever in there playing skee ball. When we were there, only people playing. It'll be packed on Saturday night. It's just me and my cousin, the only people playing fucking skee ball. And so decided to go for it. And guess what, Levitan? I won the bike tonight. It's down in my living room right now.
Oh, did they count every one of your 9 million?
They literally counted everyone on the bar. It was nuts. They counted. It took like an hour for them to count all these. It's insane. I should have brought it up. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. So, yeah, but I was just like gunning for this thing. So I learned to play skee ball with that. Nick, Nick, my cousin rolled a 720 tonight.
Oh my!
Just
God.
Insane. I rolled a 630. Would have been the high score, but what are you gonna do? And yeah, so I have some skee ball skills, but it's really been a couple months of trying to get this fucking bike.
What kind of bike is this thing? Like, it's a good it's a really nice bike.
Should I bring it up?
Yeah, Levitan and I can talk for a minute while you bring this bike up. I think that's well worth. Grab it.
All right, just talk.
Do you,
Levitan, did we book any props for Bales and skee ball? That's not an official event, is it?
No, you don't want to bet. I mean,
and good thing too, because I mean, talk about a freaking hustle.
Yeah, he started going for the hundreds, and I was like, oh, he's not going to make any because, like, obviously hundreds are obviously extremely valuable. It makes sense, but most people make 0 out of 9 or maybe a half ball out of 9. He's making like 3 or 4 out of 9 consistently. So
we're drawn dead. I thought I was decent at skee ball, and then I got my pockets cleaned by Dinkmeyer. This was a legendary story. Dink still brings it up to this day. I think I lost like 10 consecutive times to Dink.
Do you want to talk about the racquetball match you played this week or no?
Sure. Yeah, I met up with Charles, aka Condia, the legend. He wanted to play some racquetball. He is semi-retired from DFS. I'm not going to speak too much about what I think is going to happen, but I do think there's a good analogy with Condia and Brett Favre. One of the greatest. Constantly retires and comes back. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back. He semi-retired and then played the Millionaire Maker 75 times and finished 5th place. So what a life for the guy. But yeah, we played some racquetball. It's super fun. I actually bought a bunch of racquetball gear, and I'm starting to play a little bit more. So hoping your finger's going to get all right. And yeah, well, what's the status update on the finger, bud?
Yeah, I got a hard cast, got rid of the splint, got a hard cast on it now to try to keep it even more stable so that the tendons regrow. So we'll see how it goes. But I do want to say this about Condia. Like, he's probably like the most impressive player I've seen because it's so obvious he's not using anybody else's work except for his own, and he's crushing with it. You know what I mean? And like, I have all the respect in the world for somebody who does all their own work and is willing to put in all that work and then battle at literally the highest stakes versus everyone and just crush. You know what I mean? Like, I think that people, try to take something away from him. It's just like insanely impressive to do what he's doing. And as Peter said, like, he's working extremely hard at it, which is, I'm sure, part of the reason he wants to scale back is just to like take
Get a
it
life
easy on
again.
himself.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly is doing all his own work. He doesn't look at anything. I don't want to talk too much for him, but yeah, he's doing all his own projections, 100% on his own. And my favorite quote from him was like, "Yeah, I never leave the computer except to sleep because I'm fearful of someone outworking me."
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
he literally said he didn't leave the house at all during NFL season. That his girlfriend, his family, his friends would bring him food. Like, literally never left the computer.
Yeah. And honestly, he's up. I don't even want to speculate, but he's definitely up 7 figures and probably decently into 7 figures as well. All right, Bales, let's see the bike.
All right, here we go.
Get to watch the Hulk pick this thing up.
People are going to listen to this on audio. Oh, my God.
See it?
Actually.
Yeah, I see it. It looks like something that an 8-year-old girl would ride.
Still got the ticket thing on here.
Dude, that's like when you're a little kid, when like if you could do anything in the world, you would aspire to like win like the best thing at like the arcade. And if you had unlimited money, you'd be like, oh, I'll just keep firing it over and over again. Bale's just fulfilled like every childhood's dream.
Yeah, it was top 5 moment of my life, probably cashing in these tickets. It was amazing. They made me pour them out on the bar. Everyone's looking. I'm like, oh my God, this is actually like way more embarrassing than I anticipated. All these tickets, it's like a mound of tickets, and then I'm like trying to help the lady count them. It was bad, but I'm happy that I did it.
All right. Should we move on to the pumpkin challenge? You tweeted. Why don't you say what you tweeted, Bales, and how it's going, and why we're giving away a free subscription for a pumpkin?
Yeah, I just one night I just got some pumpkins here, and I carved a FantasyLabs jack-o'-lantern, and I tweeted that anyone that carves a FantasyLabs or Action Network logo into a jack-o'-lantern will take the top 2 and give them free subscriptions to Labs for a year. So yeah, that's I didn't have an end date. I guess Halloween. I don't know, and that's still ongoing. And there's I don't know if you look through there. There's some pretty good ones, and there's one in particular that there's like no way it loses. It's so good.
Who's the judge? Just you?
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't super well thought out, but I suppose it's me. And one of the this is funny. No one knows this. One of the ones that's really good, that's probably number 2, is my stepdad made one because my mom like follows me on Twitter, and she tweeted it to me, and it's very good. It has Action Network and Labs in it, and apparently she thought that I was giving the winners free hoagies for a year because I wrote free subs in the thing. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She's like, I thought you would get them like free like sandwiches to like a local like sub spot in their area. I'm like, why would I do that? That makes no sense. So she's pretty disappointed that she's not getting free hoagies for a year.
Family and friends are not included in any of these contests. You know, that's how they always state that stuff. There's always that little I don't even know.
Yeah, they can't.
No friends or family, buddy.
No, for anyone that's still going to do one, my mom and stepdad cannot win.
All right. This week here in Philadelphia is Poker Night in America King of the Hill 3. For those of you guys that don't know what that is, basically it's like a promotional event, a cool event put on by company Poker Night in America, who has an affiliation with Sugar House Casino here, which is like literally 1 minute from Bale's house and like 10 minutes from my house. They have a pretty nice poker room. It's a 4-man bracket style heads up event, 50K buy-in. Defending champ, which was like just a month ago or so, is Olivier Bousquet, who is certainly known as one of the best heads up sit and go players in the world, which is essentially what this is. Also, his good buddy Dan Coleman, also known as one of the best heads up sit and go players in the world, is in it. And also, good friend of the program, one of Peter's boys, plays nosebleed DFS stakes. Brandon Adams is in the mix again. Brandon Adams coming off of some poker success out there at the Poker Masters. So, Peter, have you talked to Brandon? Is his heads up game sharp, or is he just going in there looking to have some fun for 50K?
I mean, he's definitely the kind of guy who would be doing the latter. I actually just saw Brandon in Vegas. He played Stephen Bass yet again in tennis, and they had actually the full film crew out there for Poker Go. So there's multiple people filming, different camera angles. They had the whole setup for, like kind of stories around BA, and Steve continued his run as the tennis GOAT. Took him down.
Any game points?
No, not even close. I don't want to go too much. BA won 6 points, so it was a tough battle. Steve was on his game. Yeah, not really too much to be said. The best part of it, actually, Brandon had a tennis coach from Vegas who played D1 at Arizona and was a really, really good player. And Steve and him played 4 games, and Steve won 4-0. But it was like watching Wimbledon or something. These guys are just rifling shots and
right.
pretty incredible to watch. But, yeah, BA definitely on his poker grind, played the Poker After Dark stuff, played some super high stakes there. And the guy's just incredible. I mean, very savvy investor, really smart guy, obviously big in the poker game, loves the props. I really think the tennis one is just a love of the game for him, and he, obviously loves to work out, and it's a good motivation. So BA is a good buddy, and hopefully he takes it down. I'm definitely rooting for him.
Yeah, one of the biggest disappointments about my finger thing was I was hoping to get a tennis bet with BA while he was out here in Philly, but obviously I can't play due to my finger. So
do you want to bet on that, a prop on that right now? What were you gonna take, Levitan?
I mean, he's clearly way better than me. I don't know. I some type of I would either take a money line or I would take games.
You want a money line? I'll give you a money line right now when you get healthy, Bal.
All right, go ahead.
You throw out something that you think is reasonable, like plus 300, plus 400?
Yeah, I was gonna say 4-1.
Yeah, all day long, booked.
All right, I'll take 6-1.
Yeah, I mean, there's an art to negotiating this thing here, Levitan. I mean, I don't know what you want. If you really want, I will. I'll do it now. I'll give you 5-1 on the money line. How much do you want on it?
5-1 on the money line. Best 2 out of 3 sets.
Cut the down.
I'll piggyback on that if I'm allowed.
Just hold on, Bills. Relax. Levitan. How much do you want on this, buddy?
5.
Okay, we'll set a future date.
Yeah, it's got to be way in the future. I mean, I got to get my finger right, then get back in shape, then get my tennis game right. You know what I mean?
Maybe after basketball season, like April, May, or something.
Yeah.
What do you want? You can pick the time frame. I know you have some life events coming up, but I'm thinking like late spring, early summer or something.
Yeah, and also this time I want to pick the location. Like I want to play on my court. I don't want to play in freaking Denver at some country club
Oh, it's not going to be in Denver, but
where
like
there's,
you might have
kids.
to make.
I have to watch my language because there's kids at the pool. We're gonna play in the.
No. There won't be any of that stuff. You have to watch your language. That is a big factor. We could do some, but it'll most likely will end up happening. It'll be like a destination vacation. I mean, BA is not going to just like come to Philly to just like play a tennis match.
Oh, I know. That's why this poker night thing would have been so great.
We have to set something up. It says to be epic. I mean, BA is a freaking legend. I mean, the guy only travels the world for legendary things. Unless you want to put a lot of action on this, he might come to see you for a big price. Put the house on the line. He might
be back here. Anyways, he's all on the poker tour now. He might be back here anyway.
Okay, the location TBD, but it'll be, you guys will mutually agree on it. 5-1. What's the starting price, bud?
I'll give you a little at 5-1 because I said it. I'll give you 500, 1,000 at 5-1 because I said it. But if I'm gonna go for more money, I'm gonna shop for the best line.
Okay, well, we'll throw in 1,000. I'm sure BA will come up with some turns. I mean, his minimum unit is 10,000, just as an FYI.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, if I got a big enough price, I'm sure I could easily get to 10,000.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
And I forgot to mention also King of the Hill, good friend of the Action Network, good friend of Labs. Had a chance to meet him for the first time up in Boston in week 1. Scott Blumstein, the reigning world champion at the World Series of Poker, like incredibly nice, like humble dude who loves sports, loves DFS. He is also part of the King of the Hill. So I don't know who to root for. I'm definitely rooting for BA. I'm definitely rooting for Blumstein. I never had a chance to meet Coleman or Olivier, but yeah, it should be cool. Bales, do you want to tell the story about Blumstein and the shirt or no?
Blumstein's a goat.
Yeah, I guess. We're committed now. I guess Levitan, right?
No, you don't have to.
No, we did the FantasyLabs deal with Barstool, obviously during World Series of Poker, where we had Nate and Smitty battle to go out to the World Series of Poker, and we ended up buying both of them in. Nate did super well, and it was a pretty big win for us. I think with what we paid and what we ended up getting out of that I thought might be a good deal. But Scott DM'd me when he was in I think there were 27 people left, and I don't think he had a ton of chips. I forget, he might have been middle of the pack or something, and just said like, hey, like I love FantasyLabs, can I have a shirt and I'll wear it for like the whole tournament and just give me $500? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, we'll do that, of course. And we had shirts being sent to our marketing director that went to the wrong address, and so we couldn't get him a shirt in time, and so we had to take another deal. But we would have had like a FantasyLabs shirt on Scott through the duration of the this big win and stuff for $500. So that was a bad beat.
Yeah, that was an ultimate donkey move. I mean, people don't realize like there's so much overlap between poker and DFS, and Scott's picture with the FantasyLabs logo would have been like everywhere in the poker world for like ever. Like not just for the next 6 months, but like forever. Like it'd be a legendary picture with him wearing a FantasyLabs shirt.
Thanks for pouring salt in the wound, Levitan.
Dude, I'm not happy about it either, but I just think it's an ultimate donkey move. It's worse than any misclick.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad donkey.
Yeah. I mean that it's just I wasn't that upset about it because there wasn't like anything that we could do per se. That's just what happened. So you just move on from those things. Not a big deal.
Oh, we hit the skee ball. We forgot to talk about Miss Pac-Man. So after Bales showed me his outrageous skee ball skills, we went and played Miss Pac-Man at Barcade. And for background, like I have played a ton of Miss Pac-Man in my life. It's probably my best video game at this point. I used to know, and I still kind of know, like all the tendencies of the ghosts, like if you go towards one, which way it goes, and which ones go towards you, and which ones try to trap and stuff like that. And and obviously knowing all the boards and stuff like that, where the outs are. So there's actually a lot of strat also in Miss Pac-Man in terms of when to eat what, like when to eat the pellets. And a lot of people just try to clear boards instead of trying to score points, which is obviously a pretty big leak that people have. So anyways, I was really confident in Miss Pac-Man going up against Bales, even though we had played pretty recently in Orlando, and I beat him up twice pretty good. So Bales, you have anything to say for yourself going forward in Miss Pac-Man?
I mean, will you give me a price on future action?
Yeah, I have to. I mean, I beat you so bad.
I mean, the first game we both played pretty poorly, and I just like had one of those fluke poor games that I'll never have again. And then the second game, you had the high score on the machine, and I also broke the high score. So what are you gonna do? Yeah, I would take plus 200.
Yeah, I'll give you that for now. We can keep adjusting the line, but yeah, that's fine. I think that's pretty fair, actually, given my background and for an amateur, you know, you're pretty good, but I'm a professional, so I guess I should have to pay minus 200.
I'm coming along. I'll talk to the guys at Barcade, and maybe if they can get a bike on the line, I'll have some incentive to get in there.
All right, anything on fitness props this week? We have the mile Bales. Anything else on fitness props?
Have you run at all?
I have not run at all, no.
Okay, me neither.
Have you done any pull-ups, Bales?
I did pull-ups one day since the last time. Have you?
Yep, but I ate like shit the last 2 days. So bad. That's the thing I need to really improve on. I don't know if you guys have any advice, but as soon as my wife brought these like great cookies home, and I just can't have only one, and then the wine starts flowing, then you have like 3 or 4 cookies, and then you wake up the next day and it's just a disaster.
Yeah,
I wanted to
my
do
diet is just, I can't. I've been committed on the working out. I've been playing racquetball. I've been lifting, but the diet.
I wanted to do the food prop. You guys didn't want to do it, like a no carb prop or like a no sugar prop or something like that.
Yeah, let's do a no sugar prop.
Okay.
I'm out on that. You guys can do that. That's like
It's hard. Like we just need like a minimum, like maybe one day you can have like obviously like there's things that have sugar that you like
that you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but even like stuff like has like a small amount of sugar that you wouldn't think about, you know?
Well, yeah, like you can't even have like a Snapple or a Gatorade or whatever, right?
Well, that has a shit ton of sugar.
Right. That's
yeah,
right.
that's like
I know, but
it's like
like
the worst thing to have. What do you
cookies or cake?
No, I think he's talking about like sauce and stuff. Like sauce has a ton of sugar. Yeah, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Levitan, I don't know. You're such a naive person when it comes to food. I mean, you've had like you didn't even eat anything before. Before you put on the weight for the bench press, you had like a 8 rotation food list, right? Like you just ate shit over and over and over again, right?
Yeah, no, I got a lot of issues with eating for sure. Which is
all I'm saying, like maybe we like do like no carbs. We'll talk about it, but I'm 100% down to do a diet oriented.
Yeah. Even if it's just for like a week or something. Like I've never gone carb free my entire life for a week. I would like to see how my body responded, you know?
Yeah. I would also like to do a no alcohol prop.
Oh yeah. Well, that's easy for
me. Didn't you have one of those, Pete?
Yeah, I did that with Empire Maker, and we both were not that good at all of our stuff. We did well for a stretch of time, but no.
I just remember you and I, it was something like you could only, you had to have fewer than 7 drinks a week or something. Very ambitious. Very ambitious. Yeah, we had like, he's at like number 7 or whatever, and it was, I think you had like maybe 1K or something penalty if you went to 7, and we were just sitting in New York, and I was drinking, and Pierre's like, dude, like if I drink this, I'm gonna owe him $1,000, and like literally just completely debating if he should get this beer, and you were so close to getting the beer, like literally paying $1,012 or whatever for this beer. And you didn't do it, though. To your credit, you didn't do it.
Yeah, I still think I lost that week, though, because I caved later on in the week. I was doing all right with it. I think I only maybe lost that once or something, like, or twice. I don't know. It's just hard, man. Like, it's not hard for me. Like, I don't drink at home, but I drink with, like, my wife, and when I go out to eat. And, like, socially, there's nothing better than, like, meeting a buddy for a beer, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. But, yeah. Drinking's definitely. I think that's a prop that should definitely be introduced for sure. Levitan?
Yeah, I I'm not a big drinker, so it really wouldn't be fair, honestly, to you guys to do a drinking prop. It would be so easy for me to go like months without drinking. Really would not phase me at all whatsoever. So yeah, I don't know about a prop on that, but the carbs one, I mean, all I do is eat carbs. I'll like wake up and eat a bagel, then I'll have like pasta, then I'll have cereal. Like I'm a disaster with carbs. That would be really hard.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it and try to figure that one out.
All right. Let's get to the bets from last week, the against the spread bets. Shout out to intern Scott, who was a great guest on the show last week, for putting these together. Me and Bales both went 2-1. I hit Raiders and Seahawks, lost Packers, which was absurd. Bales hit Patriots and Bengals over, and lost Bears Panthers over. Peter went 1-2. So what are we doing with this, Bales? Are we like chopping, or what are we doing with that when we tie?
Yeah, we chop it.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to this week. I don't remember who went first or last week, so Bales, why don't you go first?
I will go Indy Cincy over. I think it's at 41.5 right now. Yes, it was at 41. Both of these teams we have in the top 7 in projected plays based on their pace. And so it's kind of a unique situation where we think that based on their pace and trying to control for their opponents and the game situation and stuff, that they're going to run a ton of plays. And so I find it unlikely that they're both going to run a ton of plays and not be in a situation to go over there. So I'll go over 41.5.
Yeah, I was looking at some initial projections and models on the site, and it looks like Andy Dalton is like head and shoulders above all other quarterbacks in my model on DK. I think he's like 5,900. So over would not be bad there if you're going to play Andy Dalton, obviously. I will go with the Browns plus the 9 at home against the Vikings, and I hope that they start Case Keenum as we're recording this. They haven't.
Left donkey. It's not at home. I've made this mistake like 3 times with London.
Oh my God, it's in London, isn't it?
Yeah, you idiot.
All right, can I rescind?
Oh no, you can't.
No, you can't rescind. You cannot rescind.
I tried to get Oakland that last time I was being a donkey. I did this on the Fantasy Flex like 3 weeks in a row. I'm like, oh yeah, I like this team.
Oh. I did it before too. We never even talked about it.
Yeah, all of us are guilty of it. But even Ian, our boy Ian at FantasyLabs, tweeted out. I mean, I can even pull up the tweet. Public service announcement: this game is in London. Do not make some stupid comment or Levitan. Yeah, here it is. Public service announcement, all caps. The Browns play the Vikings in London Sunday. I mean, Levitan, king of Twitter, king of following Ian, and all this stuff. Like, come on, pal.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, but I will say I haven't even looked at this slate yet. Still reviewing last week's game, so that's my excuse. But no, I'll still take the Browns. Fine. I'll still take the Browns. I hope they start Cody Kessler and not Deshaun Kaiser. If they start Cody Kessler, I would really like it at plus 9, even in a neutral field against the Case Keenum-led Vikings team.
All right. I'm going to take the 49ers as bad as they are with 13 points. Just so many points. I love the Eagles this week, but they do have 2 brutal injuries. Peters is a huge one on the offensive line, and then Hicks tore his Achilles, which – shout out to him. Hopefully he can bounce back. That is obviously a brutal injury, but I will take the Niners getting 13 points.
That was on my list.
Yeah, same. I'll go Tampa Bay -2 at home against Carolina. I believe Tampa Bay has a better point differential than the Panthers, even though they I think have two fewer wins. That's a team that we liked in the preseason quite a bit. For Deshaun factor and other reasons. So I think that they've probably been a bit unlucky with some things that have happened. I'll go Bucks -2 at home.
All right. I'm going to go to this Bills game and this Bills-Raiders game, and I'm going to go ahead and take the over. I believe it's 45.5. 45.5. I don't see this Oakland defense like being able to stop anyone at this point. Like they're just so bad defensively, so thin at linebacker outside of Khalil Mack. I know they just got Navarro Bowman, but I think it's another nice spot for Tyrod, another nice spot for LaShawn McCoy, and come back the other way. We saw Amari Cooper get loose. And I think most importantly, like Marshawn Lynch suspended for this game is actually good for the Raiders because Marshawn Lynch is pretty clearly totally done. And DeAndre Washington and Jalen Richard at least give them some explosiveness. So I'll go over the 45.5 in that Bills Raiders game.
I love the call. Hopefully Amari can keep it going. And just to clarify again, I only gave Adam so much shit because I've made that mistake 3 times, and I made it twice in a row on the NFL blocks. So makes me happy. Misery enjoys company. I'm going to take as my next pick the Redskins at home, getting 2.5 points, division game. I actually liked a couple things I saw from the Redskins. I think the Eagles are really good, but their defense is playing a little bit better, and I think Kirk Cousins has had a lot of success in these situations, and I think they'll be effective on offense. So I will take the Redskins getting 2.5 at home.
Final one, I'll go Bears Saints under 47. We've talked about how the Saints D might be better than people think. I think their offense probably is maybe not as good as people think. The line opened at 48 and moved down, so getting it a little bit late. That's probably a big move down to 47. And then we also have the Bears as the lowest team in terms of projected plays, and I think that probably makes sense where that's what they do, and they're going to try to shorten that game as much as possible. And so unless they get down big early and are forced to throw, could be where there's just not a ton of plays in that game. So Chicago, New Orleans, under 47.
All right. I will go ahead, and since I was going to take the 49ers with this pick, obviously 49ers off the humiliation and Eagles off the huge win, just an clear-cut buy low, sell high spot for the 49ers there. But since Peter took that, I'll go with the Seattle and Texans over. I think 2 defenses that might be a bit overrated and 2 quarterbacks playing extremely well in Russ Wilson and Deshaun Watson. So this line has already moved up a ton. I think it's already gone from 43 up to 45.5. So certainly getting the worst of the number here, but I'm pretty sure that it's the right side. So I'll stick there over 45.5.
Yeah, we just got done recording the podcast now with Silva's big take. He said it was his big investment on the week. He went heavy on that total, and it's already gone way up. So certainly seems like the right side, even though it's already moved. So maybe a little less equity given how many points it's already gone up. But I do like the call. I'm going to go with one more home dog here. I'm going to take the Lions +3 versus Pittsburgh. This is in a great spot. I was going to go to the over on the Buffalo game as well, but I'll take a home dog. No other real logic other than that. Hopefully Stafford's a little healthier after the bye. I do think this Pittsburgh defense is legit. Le'Veon Bell looks legit, but Big Ben has been bad on the road, so I don't mind taking a home dog here.
All right. Anything else before we get out of here, Bells?
No. I mean, can you play a little Miss Pac-Man this week? Or I guess we'll be right there. Why don't we play tomorrow?
Yeah, we will be there tomorrow. We'll be over at Sugar House for the event. Should be cool. Send in your pumpkins to Bales. Bales, where do they?
Jerry in the background, just rolling around. What a life!
It's so funny that the DKTV guys said that Jerry can't be spread eagle during the videos. So now when I'm doing a DKTV video, I have to remove her.
What? It's amazing when she goes spread eagle.
I said they should blur. They should blur it out, spot it out. It's a movie or something.
That's hilarious.
Dude, I can't believe they said that. That's so good.
That's so off-brand, though. We want Jerry spreading out.
We encourage that on the Three Donkeys.
Yeah, Bales. Where can people submit the pumpkin stuff?
You can send it. Just tweet it to us, or that's the best at Bales Football. Or you can send it to Scott at whatever email he created for the show. You can go back and watch last week and I think it's the three donkeys pod at gmail.com.
All right, that is going to do it for another well-organized, well-thought-out episode of the Three Donkeys podcast. For Jerry, spread eagle back there. For Bales, for Peter, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.